Good morning to all of you who are here. It's great pleasure for me and all of you, I believe, to welcome His Holiness the Dalai Lama. He blesses the university very often in spite of his very hectic schedules, travels, taking the great messages of love and peace to all corners of the world. But he still, whenever we request him, he comes and blesses us and shares his thoughts with us. I want to thank him for his kindness, generosity, his interest in ethics, his interest in education, his interest in universities, and his great love for our country, which he believes should be the leader in establishing secular ethics. Whenever I have an opportunity to talk to him, for me it's a very uplifting experience because it is all positivity rather than huge amount of negativity which is today invading our societies. So I welcome you, Your Holiness, for coming to us. I'm sure our young friends here and some of our senior colleagues, which includes us also, are very keen to listen to you and to learn from you and to get motivated about positivity in our lives with our interaction with you. So thank you for coming to the university. I would now ask you to conduct this as per your wishes and as you think it is proper.
Firstly, indeed, I'm very happy and great honor to participate in our meeting. I just express I prefer name honorary professor of the university rather than Dalai Lama. Now I'm talking to you in the name of Professor, but reality, hopeless professor. Firstly, those sufficient time to concentrate those subjects which supposed to talk. No homework, no sort of proper preparation. Secondly, of course, I'm lazy. So, I say, prefer sleep rather than serious homework. Right? However, now coming here, meet a learned person and also young student. Particularly young student, you mainly belongs this century, 21st century. We belong, particularly my generation, belongs to 20th century. So it's gone. So we are, my generation, ready to say goodbye. But your generation, now only 10 years passed, 90 years yet to come of this century. So I always pray and wish and also telling people 20th century become century of bloodshed. Through that way, of course, to concerned people, I think some foolishly get some satisfaction, but otherwise much more suffering as a result of violence. And the problem still remains there. Then on top of that, including global warming. And I think already this is some unprecedented survey. Big say, unprecedented sort of, or say things, flood, immense in Pakistan, in Ladakh. And of course, other part of the world, a lot of fire. So this, I think we already now witness, you see, due to our carelessness and I think too much greed, too much exploitation, without paying sufficient attention for protection of the whole globe. So these are, I think, a result of our thinking in 20th century. Now you, generation who belongs to 21st century, take experience which we are now facing as a result of past negligence or mistake. Now we must build this century, more peaceful century, and peace not come through prayer, but peace must, we human beings must create peace. Logically, violence, war created by human being. So the other side, peace also we must create. So peace does not mean no longer problem. Problem will remain. So long we human beings remain, problem, disagreement always remain. Then what we should do is, whenever we face some problems, we must find solution, peaceful solution or solution through dialogue. So usually I describe this 21st century now should be century of dialogue. So you belongs now that generation. So indeed I am very happy and great honor to interact with you. So of course the authority to arrange this sort of meeting. Thank you very much. Thank you. Team is very correct. What is the meaning of life? I don't know. Perhaps I am Buddhist and I study many Buddhist texts which wrote by Nalanda masters or Nalanda professors like Nagarjuna or these things. But I'm not talking as a Buddhist, but maybe in my whole idea, my whole view, some kind of combination, the Nalanda tradition which always open mind and a little bit skeptical, then analyze, which we Buddhists call analytical meditation. It is very useful. Should not consider as a religion, but simply is it a proper way to seek the reality. Open mind, skeptical, investigation, analytical, analyze. So very helpful. So part that, then part as a result of meeting with many scientists. So basically my way of thinking is a very scientific way. So now I am talking to you from the viewpoint of some kind of combination, modern science and Buddhist analytical system. So then purpose of our life or our sort of existence. All things which have life, including rocks, stones, of course much longer period, but there is life. So every sort of living thing, they, by nature, they have the right to exist, to survive. Then those phenomena which have life, but no consciousness, no cognitive power, no feeling, pain and pleasure. That's one category. Another category, living thing, who have life, but also they have the experience of pains and pleasure. One time my discussion with late Verala, Francis Verala, his sort of definition, right? Living being, anything which have ability to move from here there, that consider sentient being, not just a chemical matter, but there is motivation, desire, experience. So the thing, like he mentioned, the smallest living being is amoeba, can have the ability to move. So that physical movement, not just a chemical matter, right? Chemical factor, but there is desire, there is, because of the motivation, like that. So we belong to that category. Then, furthermore, we are human beings. Not only that, mind or consciousness or feeling, but also due to this brain, is a great potential of thinking, vision. And also because of this brain, our memory is much sort of stronger than other animals' memory. So combination, memory, strong memory, and ability, thinking future, vision. One way, that is source of our success. One way, source of problem. Now, purpose of our life, naturally, for existence, and basically reproduction. These are the, I think biologically speaking, their purpose, just for survival and reproduction, and go century by century, go like that. till this whole world, whole planet remain Kasuta, supportive for our life. When the whole planet change, then we have to say goodbye. Whether there's next life or not, these are different matter. And also whether there's creator or not, there's a different matter. We are not talking, we are not touching these things. And also we are not touching about law of karma. But obviously, we have to accept the law of causality. That's a fact. Everything, you see, due to its own causes and conditions. You see, things are moving, things are changing. So now, I think purpose of our life, within that, I think everybody, every sentient being, I think because of the feeling of self, because of feeling of, because of experience of pains and pleasure and neutral. So by nature, want more happy life. Do not want disturbances. Smallest insect also have that desire. So their life go that way. So then I think, I usually believe the very purpose of our life is happy life. That's clear. Happy, less worry, very good for this body. Too much worry, too much anxiety, very bad for this body. So that shows happy mind, healthy mind, good for this body. Constant fear, anger, hatred, according to some scientists, actually eating our immune system. So this very body meant for happy life. So usually I believe that the very purpose of our life is happy life, happiness, joyfulness, satisfaction. So I think since sort of species of mammal we call human being, and since this size of brain eventually developed, I think this desire, happy life, and accordingly moving. Thousands rather, I think several millenniums, you remember, several millenniums, go like that. So with that desire, concept of religion also come. Because in our life, sometimes we are facing some problems which we cannot control beyond our capacities. Right? Then, in order to keep hope, faith, come. Or there are something which is more powerful than us. So pray and put hope. So that faith develops. Very reason we want happiness. When we facing desperate situation, you see, our intelligence create or find something to believe. Go like that way. And then modern technology, science, also like that. We want a happy life. We do not want these sufferings. So we seek to reality, right? And science develops. And technology comes. So here I want to tell you, I think perhaps around 3,000 years, you see, we develop faith, religion. So we pray, our hope much based on hope. Our hope, so based on what's the some mysterious things. Sometimes I jokingly telling my Indian friend, you see, in order to get more money, pray to Ganesh. And me too. Whenever I saw a Ganesh statue, I always touch Ganesh's stomach, big stomach. So suppose give some money. We Tibetan, as a Buddhist, there are variety of different deities, different form of Buddha. But ordinary people more prefer these deities who suppose give you wealth. Or like medicine Buddha, simply cure your illness. Not thinking about the nirvana, not thinking about Buddhahood. So I think one clear indication, sometimes we consider these little deities which give us wealth, health, healthy, these consider more important, more intimate, rather than Buddha. When we saw Buddha statue, oh, Buddham Shanam Gacchami, that's all. When Ganesh come, oh, really, some incense, some flower, and because it's deep inside, our desire is just for this life. Then last about 200 years, science developed, and with that technology developed. All our wish immediately can materialize, not like prayer. So naturally, we develop more interest, science and technology. All our desire immediately materialize, immediately bring. Our health improve, facilities improve, our life becoming more convenient, like that. Then, later part of 20th century, people, particularly in those countries where material influence were highly developed material, begin to feel there is a limitation. Money, or the material values, there is limitation. Obviously, I also, have sort of contact. Some billionaire, very rich. As far as the money is concerned, no worry. But as a person, very unhappy person. And also great scientist, great sort of technologist, great sort of full of knowledge. But as a person, unhappy. Now that shows material, because of the material facility, including money, there is limitation. Cannot bring inner peace, mental peace. Inner peace only come through right kind of mental attitude. It is clear. And also our health. Now, later part of 20th century, in medical science, now scientists now begin to feel human emotion is very important factor for our health. And for as a preventive measure, healthy mind is very crucial. Even you get some sick, recover. Healthy mind is very crucial factor to recover, to to recover. Even animal. One time, it's a scientist, they mentioned Kasachoti. I think guinea pigs, 2 guinea pig, same injury. One guinea pig put alone, another guinea pig with another guinea pig as a friend. So same injury, but then recover the guinea pig with other guinea pig which licking often. It's like that, right? Licking. So recover much faster that guinea pig who received licking from another guinea pig than the other guinea pig without sort of what's today, without some kind of showing affection from other. So they have no religion, but a biological factor. More sort of sense of feeling of someone taking care. So that brings more self-confidence. That brings more enthusiasm. You see, that immense help to recover. Of course, I cannot remember the particular word. One very, very subtle, some genes or type of gene or something. Do you remember the name? Actually, it's one meeting. They demonstrated one sort of picture, remutin. A diagram. They explain person who have more warm-heartedness. That small thing, little bit long like that, and then on top there is something. So those individuals who have more warm-heartedness or more compassionate feeling, then something on the top increasing and multiply. Then person who often feel fear, hatred, that thing eventually disappear. So they say that thing, that matter is the sort of basis of our health. They mention that. So these scientists, not religious minded, they are not talking about next life or heaven. Simply how to build healthy body. So now these people clearly demonstrated peace of mind as very good, very important factor for our health. So everybody is taking care about our health. So it is not sufficient just to build one just some hospitals, these things. Of course, very good. But more important, right from the beginning, if there is certain things which can prevent illness, it's worthwhile to do. Then obviously, our own experience, everybody born from our mother, everybody have the experience sucking mother's milk. My father, I was told, just only one son of his mother, sorry. So, boy, very much boy and mother, very much close. So, my father, when his age, around 9, 10, 11, as a villager, is you go to follow animals, right? After animals. And evening, when the animal return his home, he immediately, approach his mother and sucking milk. Their son already now reached 9, 10, 11 years old, now no longer any milk from the mother, but he's so sort of fond, like that. So everybody, have the experience. We survived, basically, because of mother's infinite affection, care, with mother's own milk. I think here in this room, apparently, everybody, seems very okay. But if we go, as a day, after life more deeply, then those individuals here who received maximum affection at the time of our young age, deep inside, much healthier, emotional level, much healthier, more self-confidence, much less fear. That those individuals, here may be professors or chancellor, including myself and Dalai Lama, at the time, young age, lacking mother's affection, or even without mother's milk, just the cow milk or some other milk. I think deep inside, less sort of self-confidence because of experience at that moment, you constant fear, loneliness. So that, because of the traces, remain whole life. So that's our common experience. Then obviously, I think every student, I think if you watch those students who always smile, always playful, and remain truthful, honest, these students much happier, no matter what their social background or wealthier family or not. Then those students who may be very rich, clothes and everything, this is sort of something very attractive, but less smile, always too much cautious, with suspicion. Such student, long run, I think much less sort of happy mood. Right? And then family. Those family who often, suspicion between husband and wife or parent and children, no trust, no openness, always too much cautious, superficial, no peace in that family, no human warmth, where full trust, respect each other, full of loving kindness, much happier. So these are facts. Whether we believe in religion or not, these inner values are key factor for happy life, happy family, happy community. So that is later part of 20th century, at the beginning of the 21st century. Now more and more people now realize that, particularly in the field of scientists, among the scientists. And in, I think, the 70s and the 80s, among the businessmen, Florida, seems to see much less talk about the value of compassion. Now later, 90s and 2000, how more and more among the businessmen or richer family also now showing the value of inner peace or the peaceful mind. Now question is how to develop, how to bring inner peace through prayer. Large number of people actually non-believer. And also, I think in some extent, I also can say, only through prayer will not bring inner peace. Temporary maybe. So as I mentioned earlier, last 2,000-3,000 years, everybody pray very seriously. I think this year, a few months ago, a partner, the chief minister, Bihar government, constructed one Buddhist temple and some Buddhist relic from different Buddhist countries put there. So one sort of one function. The then chief minister expressed, due to Buddha's blessing, his sort of state, Bihar state, will flourish. Then my turn talk. Of course, I know chief minister, so I express, if due to Buddha's blessing, Bihar state flourishing, then Bihar state must flourish much earlier, because the Buddha's blessing always there. But then I told, Buddha's blessing very powerful, but depend on chief minister's hand. So previous chief minister, I think Buddha's blessing must be there, but failed to bring the adequate development. The only new administration come, these development come. So looks, you see, the active human being, till active human being come, the higher being's blessing remain dormant. So everything depends on we human being, ourselves. So now the way to promote. So you see, some people, you see, may feel now 1,000 years, you see, we totally sort of believe or rely on religious faith, but faith. So now today also, unless we something moving ourselves, is it difficult to expect. So those then and various sort of religious institutions, the influence to the society is limited. And particularly at the time, there's some additional conflict in the name of religion. Very bad example. People lose faith. That's fact. Whether we like it or not, it is fact. So now, one way, we have to make every effort to bring inner peace. Inner peace much depend on concept of loving kindness or these things. These are 1,000 years, all major religious tradition, whether theistic religion or non-theistic religion, all talking about these things. So therefore, some my friend, say, when I talk the secular ethics, about secular ethics, then some my friend believe ethics, any ethics, moral ethics must be based on religious faith. If that's the case, then difficult. Unless you accept religion, there is no way to increase or promote ethics. No. There must be. Now here, I think the way promoting these moral ethics or loving kindness, these things, it seems to me 3 ways. Number one, theistic religion, concept of God, creator. One way promoting these values. Like Christianity or Islam, Judaism, and some Hinduism, also they ultimately accept the creator. So you see, so single-pointed faith towards creator. You yourself totally submitted, dedicated to creator, that actually reduce self-esteem, self-centered egoistic attitude. Whereas Buddhism emphasizes selflessness idea, that reduce self-centered egoistic attitude. But different method, but more or less I think same purpose, like that. So that's one way. Then of course, they all sort of religious tradition, theistic religion, they all describe Buddha or God, infinite love, infinite compassion. Nobody say God is full of anger. Nobody say that. Always say God is infinite love, or sort of say like that. So that means any person who sincerely believes God, and he or she must follow the God's way. That's practice of love, compassion, forgiveness, these things. And then second way, no idea of creator, but law of causality, such as Buddhism, Jainism, no creator. As far as Buddhism is concerned, for the very basis or very purpose of the Four Noble Truths shows no absolute creator, but due to law of causality. Suffering and cause of suffering, permanent happiness and source of path of that. So that very idea of Four Noble Truths based on law of causality. So that also one way to promote the inner values. Quite simple. If you harm other, you will suffer. If you help other, if you bring happiness on other, you get benefit. There's a law of causality, karma, law of karma. So that's one way, promotion of inner values. Now non-believers, there are plenty of non-believers. I think this country, comparatively, I think still people are more religious minded, isn't it? But there are a lot of people who pray God, but at the same time a lot of corruptions, a lot of injustice things doing. So these people essentially not very faithful. If they really faith towards God or Shivaji or Brahma, then your daily conduct must be honest, compassionate. But these cases, their faith, their practice only in the temple or only in the front of the Ganesh or front of Shiva Lingam, not outside. So the religious concept failed to bring your daily life. So essentially these people also, among Tibetans also, you see, Buddham Shanam Gacchami, or I mean the Buddhists also and Tibetan also, you see, Buddham Shanam Gacchami, Dhammam Shanam Gacchami, Sangha Gacchami, in real life, doing all sorts of things. So essentially these people, I feel, belongs third category, not serious about religion, or some cases non-believer, essentially. So now we must develop third way to promote human values or moral ethics to these people. So that's obviously secular ethics. The other day, when I met Advani ji, he mentioned to me one of the reasons India, this country, very successful about democracy, is 1,000 years in this country, this tradition. It's a philosophical viewpoint, criticize each other, but on person's level, respect each other. He mentioned Charvaka actually denying existence of, I think existence of Dharma, existence of God, existence of next life, nothing. Last, I think, almost, I think, more than 2,000 years, 3,000 years, already there. So he mentioned Charvaka, there's something like nihilist. So rest of school of thought criticize about that view, but refer these people, rishi, so sage, sage. So that means respect these people. A philosophical viewpoint, criticize, argue. As a person who holding that view, respect. So, ancient time, these are non-believer, Charvaka. So, in India, the tradition, respect non-believer. So, in modern time, non-believer, we must respect. There must be third way to promote human values or moral ethics without touching religion. Just using our common sense, common experience, and latest scientific finding. Now here, before come here, I just to express, now I noticed in America, and also in Canada, and also Japan, but in many places, when we seriously discuss about the social problem, and particularly among the younger generation, like Japan, now materially highly developed, their living standard very high. But among the student in Japan, the mental problem or depression increasing, and number of cases of suicide among the student also increasing. So likewise, in those developed countries, some kind of crisis among the people, particularly among the youth. So you see some kind of certain sort of senseless act, you see killing, shooting just like that. These things happen. Then of course like the terrorism, these things, also ultimately due to lack of moral principle and also corruption. Nowadays, you see newspaper, you see mentioned about the Commonwealth game, something wrong there. So these clearly sign of lacking moral principle. Without moral principle, self-discipline will not come. Without self-discipline, whenever opportunity comes, then wrongdoings, you see, easily happen, like that. So therefore, now we really need some effort to promote these values through a secular way. When we think about that, India is the really appropriate place. Your constitution also based on secularism. And secular is common here. I often, you see, receive negative attitude from my Muslim friend as well as some sort of Christian friend. When I talk about a secular, then they say, oh, secularism means rejection of religion, disrespect to religion. Then I sort of explaining to my friend, according to India, secularism, not at all disrespect to religion, but respect all religion, and no preference this religion or that religion. And also according to Advani's sort of explanation, the India 1,000 years respect non-believer also. So therefore, although like Canada, Quebec, last year, many university in Quebec province is come together because of Montreal, you see, they some kind of teachers training for mainly how to promote compassion, these things, without touching religion. Previously, in that province, you see, they very much emphasis about Catholicism, about Christian. But then, you see, now you see some change. In school, not necessarily teach religion, but they try to find the secular way. So there, I also, you see, participated in that meeting, and then also, you see, a number of occasions, our meeting some educationists, some professors, some chancellors from New York area and from Wisconsin area and different place. You see, they number of occasions, you see, discuss about, you see, what's lacking in modern education system, how to introduce moral ethics in education sort of system. So people sometimes you see, feel it's difficult. The moral ethics must be based on religion. Then the education, the state separate religion and what's the state. So many schools quite strict because of that, without involved religion. So that problem, you see, happen. So therefore, you see, the secular way to promote these values is something now very fit. So that Now some scientists and also some educationists actually you see carrying some program, research and some work how to introduce in modern school curriculum these moral ethics from kindergarten up to university level. So now in this respect, I think India really appropriate sort of what's a place to think more and discuss and more research. And then eventually, I think one or two schools, let them carry these new sort of what's a day, additional lesson about some form of meditation or training of mind. And then, after 5 years, 10 years, if you look, oh, some result there, then you can extend, right? Expand. Some my scientist friend, you see, they carry some sort of project, small scale, as an experiment. This is people, student or people, you see, carry some 2-3 weeks sort of what's the training of mind, including mindfulness, like that. Before they start these sort of experiment, check blood pressure, the amount of stress, all these things. Then after 2-3 weeks, again is a test. They found significant change. Blood pressure reduced, stress also much reduced, the person becoming much more calm, like that. So such things, you see, we can implement, we can carry as an experiment. Not necessary to rush, right? Some small sort of project and carry some experiment. Then if something really worthwhile, then we can carry a more larger scale, like that. So that I want to share with you. And then some discussions. I really want to more serious discussion. And if you have some the critical commentary, comments, critical, most welcome. If I defeat by your sort of what's the reason, I will accept. That's a Nalanda tradition, isn't it? Lot of argument with respect. And this is very wonderful, wonderful. So that's all. Thank you.
We can have some questions now. There are mics in front of everybody in the front, these rows here, yes? You need to press the button so that, and the light will light up, then you can ask the question. After you ask the question, press the button again so the light goes off, otherwise there's interference in sound. And so perhaps we begin by asking questions on what's been said by His Holiness as a way in. Who would like to go first? Press the button and you, yeah.
Good morning, sir. Sir, I had a question. Sir, since we were talking of the secular form of ethics, ethics can only be introduced in schools and can be given in a concrete form if there is no ambiguity in ethics.
No.
Ethics can be introduced in schools and colleges if there is no ambiguity, if it should be crystal clear that, this is what ethics is all about. So, sir, I am a student of science. I want a definition. How would you define good and evil? When I do something, how am I supposed to know that I am doing good And when I'm doing something, how am I supposed to know it is bad according to a concrete definition that is there?
Oh. Broadly speaking, any verbal act, physical act which brings harm other, it is non-ethics. Helping, of course, everybody have the feeling of I. So by that, taking care maximum oneself. There, nothing wrong. But problem is, due to short-sighted and too much greed or too much negative emotion, then in order to bring some benefit to oneself for temporarily, don't care about long-term harm to oneself and doing something wrong. Now, for example, cheating, stealing, corruption, any injustice sort of work, that's unethical. Anything which benefit to other, not harm other, ultimately bring sort of immense benefit to oneself. I think if you ask a person who doing wrong things, cheating, lying, hypocrisy, and such artificial way doing, I don't think these people, in deep insight, I think not comfortable. Open, sincere, transparent, truthful. Those persons, deep insight, more self-confidence, more inner strength. As a result, much happier. So for one's own sort of benefit, the certain act really bring inner strength. That's moral ethics, broadly speaking. I think biological factor, animal. I notice some of my sort of pets, cats, dogs. Nowadays, only one cat. When I see, they treat them with sincere motivation, they appreciate. When a little cheating, giving some food, but some other motivation, sometimes they know. So these are the moral thing. Even animal have some extent the ability of judging like that. So one thing I often half joke, telling one occasion in Oxford, in front of great professors, old professors, I asked one question. Mammals, what size of brain have the ability to show appreciation? Reason, mosquito, when my mood okay, and also provided no danger of malaria, then I give some blood to some mosquito. But they enjoy sucking my blood. No sign of appreciation. So I asked other animal like cat, dogs, if you sort of nice, sincerely sort of pat or sincerely give something, they appreciate, isn't it? So what size of brain have the ability to recognize others' kasda or good action? So no answer. So still I have no answer. So like that. Yes?
So you started off the discussion by talking about meditation, particularly analytical meditation. But the popular idea of meditation is you should drop your consciousness, drop your thought, you should not think about anything. But you spoke about analytical meditation. So can you please explain how this fits in?
Oh. meditation, concentration, so na. Sanskrit ka suda. I think meditation may be, I think in the English word, meditation may be refer both vipassana and samadhi. So vipassana, analytical meditation. Samadhi, single-pointed meditation, not investigate. Of course, many other sort of form of meditation. In Hinduism and also Buddhism, there are a variety of different meditation. So usually you see people, as you mentioned, meditation means something fully rest, not using our brain, not stopping brain. So one little story. When Bihar Chief Minister, you see, sent some officials invite me in order to invite me to carry the invitation. Then they mentioned their sort of plan, construction. So they originally only meditation center. Then I suggested the Buddhist meditation. In order to carry Buddhist meditation, you should know what is the purpose of the meditation, what is the motivation of the meditation, and what is the actual conduct of meditation. Without knowing this, then just build one building for meditation center, and I jokingly told them, oh, then maybe some people from Bombay, from Bangalore, whose life very busy, and then come to Patna and spend a few days just rest in the form of meditation. Exactly as you mentioned, thoughtlessness, and remain like robot. What use? So therefore, beside the meditation room or meditation block, you must have classroom and with books about Buddhism. And first, let them study, let them know the purpose of the meditation, what form of meditation, what motivation. Then spend some time in the meditation room. Then that's appropriate. I just jokingly telling them, fortunately they listen my suggestion. So eventually, when I visited there, they already 2 blocks, meditation block and study block, like that. So it is wrong. People get impression. Meditation, simply close your eye and then like that, just relax. That's not kasuda, not sort of serious sort of meditation, no. According to my own little experience, the analytical meditation really brings clear idea, and that brings new conviction, new awareness, new insight. Right? That really impacts our destructive emotion. Just short moment, close eye, even in front of Buddha, just close eye and pray. Not much effect on your destructive emotion. So, as far as Buddhism is concerned, the very purpose of Buddhism is to transform our emotion, destructive emotion, reduce, eventually eliminate. For that, only thing is increase positive emotion. Like you see in the room, too much heat, then coolness must increase. Then the heat reduce. That's the only way. Never materialize pray or visualize you are in the eyes. Will not help. You must do something. air temperature, cold temperature increase, heat reduce. Similarly, emotion, although no kazoda, no physical, no color, no kazoda. You can't find, you can touch. So, not like physical contradiction. Mental level, emotional level, contradiction is jintangyawa.
On the mental level, the contradiction needs to be thought of in terms of how the objects are perceived, how the objects are apprehended.
Now, for example, you see one fruit, for example, one arm somewhere. Or mango, one mango. One mind, at the beginning, one mind, you see, felt, oh, this is very good, must be very sweet. And then someone told you, no, or you yourself, you see, tested, then not that much sweet. Then the second part of your mind, no, this is not sweet. So these two minds, contradictory. One mind, one level, consider very good, sweet. Later part of the mind, the same object, same fruit, but continuation of that mind, completely contradictory. So that's the Dzanga said.
So this indicates how the first moment of the mind, which views the mango as very sweet, and the second moment of the mind, which sees the mango as very sour or non-sweet, these two are contradictory in terms of the apprehension of how the mango is perceived.
So, in order to, mentally, any sort of contradictory mind, the mind which has valid basis always can increase. The mind or emotion which no sound basis, no matter how forceful or temporary, it cannot remain. So now, loving kindness, compassion, sound basis, scientifically, religiously, philosophically, more sort of familiarized, more alive in your mind, you get benefit. Opposite, strong anger, hatred, very strong, but no proper basis. If you think long term, if you think more holistic, you will find that strong anger is based on ignorance. All these destructive emotion, no proper base, because that's now Buddhist way. All destructive emotion based on ignorance. Now, for example, may I go further? Oh, now I can stop. Thank you. It's very good. I think very good. You should know the meditation is not that simple. Analytical meditation is much effective, much better. Yes, now.
Your Holiness, I seek blessings for a friend of mine who could not make it here, Nihal. The question is, you talked about human beings are logical, but at times in decision making, I feel as if I am in a conflict between my logic and my instinct. My mind calculates and say, do this, but my heart, the inner call inside me, asks me to do something else. Who should I listen to?
Kursa. So, yes, there are sort of human actions without a reason. Just as a touch here and put here, like that. and physically feel thirst. I want to. This without analytical meditation. If you analyze analytical meditation, put here, silly. But the consequences also not that much serious. Any action which consequences is more serious, more larger, then these things usually not come that kind of automatically. But firstly, you develop desire, then motivation. And often, you see, wrongdoing carried with certain motivation. That motivation drives by desire, one-sided desire, short-sighted. Of course, when you have some kind of disagreement, if you use harsh word and if necessary, a little bit physical action, you get satisfaction. But very short-sighted, too much emotion. Without thinking, if I use harsh word, what imprint in the other person's mind? That may remain months, years. Disagreement there, but you solve or accept half their viewpoint, half your own viewpoint, compromise, dialogue. No longer any long-term negative consequences. Like that. Immediate, spontaneous emotion, most cases negative, short-sighted. The thinking, analyze, then certain motivation. This motivation is valid basis. Strong motivation about concern of others' well-being. Strong sort of compassionate feeling through training. You see, these then at reach certain level, it become emotion. But with solid basis, through training, not come automatically or spontaneous. Anger, hatred, these basically come from spontaneous. So here, I think according ancient Indian sort of literature, they detailed explanation about chit or mind. Then within mind, there are different level of mind. And Buddhism also, a lot of information. So that's why, as far as inner science is concerned, Western science, modern science, very limited, their knowledge. So last 30 years, more than 30 years, you see, as a result of our dialogue with modern scientists, now 30 years, interest among the scientists much increased. And we also find extremely useful to learn from modern scientific sort of perspective about the particles. Although the Hindu tradition also mentioned about atoms and particles, and Buddhist as well. But further sort of explanation, deeper understanding, deeper analyze the modern, like such as quantum physics. Essentially, very similar, mathematical philosophical viewpoint and quantum physics, very similar. Many similarities, like that. So, we have plenty of sort of resources about mind. So, with these ancient literature and scientific sort of research, through research of brain or genes, through that way, they pinpoint, because the pinpoint already, they calculate about emotion, like that. I often, you see, teasing some of these scientists, because they say they found the certain part of the brain, I can't remember the name, when we suffering oneself, overwhelming suffering at some place, one place, no, not in Midway, I think somewhere, you see, some part of the brain more active. The same area, when we develop serious sort of concern about others' well-being, the same place, the activity, same place. So I jokingly told them, oh, then in that case, our brain is so foolish. The motivation level, one, the mental level, one, you see, very much out of concern about others' well-being. So at that moment, mental level, full of self-confidence, full strength, and on that basis, you see, taking serious care about others' well-being. Other, just overwhelming your own suffering, pain, so because of the hopelessness, helplessness, some kind of loss. The other one, full of strength, taking care, being sort of concerned about others' well-being. So mental level, vast differences, but physical reaction, brain level, same area. So poor brain, no ability to distinction. Well, what's the mental level? Then jokingly, you see, often you see telling people, now one our own common experience, when we overjoy, sometimes tear come, isn't it? Sometimes too much pain, again is a tear come. But poor eye, no ability to distinction. So if I quite sort of smart, then tear come out of overjoy, then tear must come this side. Or too much out of pain, tear come then this side. Then I have some ability to distinction. That's not the case. So explanation about mind through brain examination, difficult. Brain level, very rough, gross. Mind, much more sort of sophisticated. So now the scientists also, you see, now begin to, because of that, realize they are lacking there. So further investigation. Now actually, Wisconsin University, the great scientist, Richard Davidson. Now, this year, when I visit Wisconsin University, you see, he actually now start one project about special sort of study, research work about these matters, like that. Yes.
Are you satisfied?
Okay. Yes.
Sir, how do you prevent religion from...
Then I think conclusion, I think I may add the, generally speaking, any positive, constructive, positive emotion usually come through reason, training of mind. Those emotions which come spontaneous, generally speaking, destructive emotion.
Sir, how to prevent religion from orthodoxy? Religion from orthodoxy.
I think as far as my own religion is concerned, that's of course Buddhism in general, particularly Nalanda tradition. I think you may know those top masters of Nalanda. they never accept Buddha's own word. They accept only after the investigation, analyze what's the meaning of Buddha's particular word. So therefore,
it is on this basis that even the teachings of the Buddha, they are divided into two categories. One which is interpretable, and the other which is definitive, which can be accepted on a face value, on the other which needs to be interpreted.
So therefore, as far as the follower of non-linear tradition is concerned, no problem. But then, of course, different, like even within Buddhism, you see, some tradition, of course, totally relying on Buddha's word or tradition. Let's let them carry their own way. So I think we have no right, you see, to interfere in their sort of way of practice. This is my feeling, my view. Of course, sometimes from the Buddhist viewpoint, now I think, frankly speaking, the concept of God, creator, Buddhist viewpoint, like Digna, great logician, and also the Dharmakirti, and also the Shantadeva, you see, in their writing, they made clear contradictions about that concept. So I know that, but I always respect the concept of creator because it benefits to millions of people. So really worthwhile to respect. So, like that, you see, some cases, some traditions, this 1,000-year-old tradition, some cases may not be a little bit relevant to today's world, but that's just beyond our sort of what's today, beyond our
So we cannot really judge.
Yes.
We cannot really judge on the basis of their appearance. So the better to keep it as it is.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. Sir, I would like to...
Where you go? Oh, yes. Oh.
Sir, I would like to know that normally in our lives, pleasure are our driving forces. Like we are driven by pleasure. Like watching movie gives me a pleasure. Going out with friends give me pleasure. So, how to differentiate between the pleasure and real happiness?
I feel happiness, I think in the sense of satisfaction, not just pleasure. Sometimes painful experience gives you deep satisfaction. So now here, I think important make a distinction. Pleasure or certain satisfaction out of sensorial level, seeing something nice or sports. Some cases like I think the African game World Cup, what called they? Some people, I think whole night spent watching the television. I think next day, I think maybe too much sleep. So I think the daily work may suffer, isn't it? So these things, you see, too much relying on sensorial levels of satisfaction and music and taste, like that. So these, so long the facility which gives you satisfaction on sensorial level, so long that remain there, you get some satisfaction. When that gone, only memory, otherwise nothing. So another level, not depend on sensorial, the sensorial channel, but thinking. And then through that way, you get some satisfaction. That not depend on sensorial channel, sensorial object, much stronger, can last long. So, for example, all religion talking about faith, not relying on sensorial thing. Then Buddhists, and also you see, all religion talking about love, compassion. These not depend on sensorial thing. Then Buddhists analyze reality. And then once you develop deeper realization of the reality, you get tremendous sort of satisfaction. Never depend on whether that person is blind or dead, no problem. You can get deep satisfaction out of mental level. That is long lasting. That really affects our life. So there are variety.
People in the back, if anybody in the back rows wants to ask a question, you can always use a mic by coming forward. Yes, we are not restricted to the
His Holiness, I just want to know, is there any existence of God in the Buddhist philosophy, or what is the relevance of the luck factor in the Buddhist philosophy? Existence of God and relevance of luck factor in the Buddhism. Thank you.
Luck. Now, as I mentioned earlier, theistic religion, non-theistic religion. According non-theistic, lucky or unlucky, related with law of causality. And within the law of causality, the law of karma also involved. The result level, any sort of result in mental level, pains and pleasure, in that causes action must involve, previous action must involve. The action means karma, karma means action. Then other thing, like climate change, there may be some karmic link, but generally just nature because of process of law of causality. So, good luck, bad luck, lucky, unlucky, two simple word. There must be any event, there must be causes and conditions. Without causes and condition, impossible, something happen. And then nature causes maybe some randomness. Randomness. That also, like one sort of, when snow falls, one drop of snow, you see, come direct. One drop of snow, little change. These are due to wind or due to some other conditions. I don't think any connection of karma. These are, including randoms. These are nature phenomena. like that.
Sorry to interrupt you, His Holiness.
Huh?
It means, sir, everything is governed by the karma.
Then, of course, you see, according to theistic religion, there is some complication there. Of course, from Buddhist viewpoint, of course, I don't want to interfere some other faith. But these great masters, you see, when they make, you see, contradiction in different sort of theory, even within the Buddhism, they, like a Madhyamika philosopher, a lot of criticize, make clear about a contradiction, about a Chitta Mantra sort of school of thought. This is within Buddhism, within Maya. And also, you see, they make clear all the contradiction about Sautantic school of thought and Vibhashik school of thought. So then beyond Buddhism, they also you see, make point, you see, contradictions. So then, so there are, I mean, everything created by God, isn't it? I think now we are, we human beings, 6 billion human beings, I think a lot of problems we are facing. Whether these things created by God or not, or God give us graciously, choice, right? Freedom of choice, right? Free will. So, that is beyond my capacity to say.
Good morning, Your Holiness. My question is, since you mentioned earlier that people are running after wealth, we touch Ganesh's stomach for wealth, you talk the bad condition of Bihar and due to the politician. So, from Buddhist point of view, say, should such moral or ethical lesson be taught to students at a school or politician at parliament or assembly?
Kasa. At very early age, I think basic human, the values, which is the basis of secular ethics. You see, these, I think, very young age, I think very fresh. Look, you see, children, very young age, you see, they may quarrel, but they do not keep hatred feeling or negative feeling. A short moment, like my own brother, elder brother, when we were, say, 5 years, 6 years old, we quite often quarrel. And at that time, you see, my weapon is my nail, like that. So some traces on my brother's face, you see something, that the blessing of 14th Dalai Lama. But, you see, within a few seconds, forget, play together. And the children don't care about the social background, whether high position or other. So long, play together. This is fine. So long, give smile. Okay. When we grown up, now, wisdom brings, when we met, what is their social background? If I do something, how much I get benefit? Everything calculate. Then foolishly, sadly, we don't care about warm-heartedness. But we do care about money, power, like that. So therefore, basically, when our basic human values still alive, I think not much sort of urgent, then that gradually, that beginning decline then we need educate them. These basic values are very important for your daily life and for your whole life till your death. These basic human values are very necessary because our body, you see, come from that way. Therefore, in deep our blood, the sort of, the sense of appreciation of others, love and compassion, and the sense of concern by other. So, anyone who have ability to appreciate others' compassion, that person or that sentient being also have the capacity to show other affection. Like mother, child. Just after born, child, no idea about the mother, but simply biological factor, totally reliant. And so long mothers doesn't carry, child feel very happy, separate, unhappy. These are biological factors. So, mother's side provide maximum affection, the response from the child without any sort of logic, simply is a return. That's the way. So therefore, anyway, I think I may say our mind about corrupt, about start corrupt, become corrupt. Then we need effort to keep these basic values. So in any way, as I can mention this before, from kindergarten up to university level, I think some part of their lesson, I think, must include about the how to be well-being.
His Holiness.
You think His
Holiness.
His Holiness. You
Okay,
think
this is the last question. Your Holiness, whom would you like?
His Holiness.
Yes.
Why a pure love, like love with mother, creates an emotional baggage after a time, and how to get emotional independent? I mean,
Prasad. Tomorrow. Tomorrow. As I mentioned earlier, in emotion, two types. One emotion, spontaneous. One emotion, through reasoning. Then loving kindness. One category of love, actually attachment. Another loving kindness without attachment. So loving kindness with attachment always remain biased. The loving kindness without attachment is unbiased. That comes only through training, only through reason. So the more biased, attachment nature of love, always, you see, they bring kasota, chisanda. Even you see hatred, love, attachment, and easily bring hatred, anger. Like wife and husband. Too much attachment, even slightest sort of cause, develop suspicion, hatred. Genuine loving kindness, with respect, much stable. So I think it is true, my own parent, of course my father passed away, then I too young, not much feeling. experience. Then my mother passed away. Not much worry. And particularly my tutor, when he passed away, I really felt very sad. At that time, I have the feeling, till he alive, I can lean to a solid rock. When he passed away, that no longer there. But then think to myself, now what best thing is, I have to carry the wishes of, the tutor, and like mother, also like that. If I remain too much worry, remain full of worry, that if that late person still some way to know, then more worry. In spite of that tragedy, you remain fresh, full of enthusiasm, then carry the late person's sort of wish, carry. Then that person, if there is way to know, much happier. So that's the proper way. And then also, the 8th century, I think 8th century, one Indian master, Deva, you see, he mentioned, when you suffer, some sort of suffering happen, then analyze about that nature. If there is way to overcome that suffering through your effort, then no need worry. Make effort with full confidence. If there is no way to overcome that, then better to accept. Too much worry is additional problem, additional suffering. So no use too much too much worry, like that. So I think use our intelligence when we face some problem. And our attitude should be realistic attitude, as Shantadeva says. If something we can do it, we can do to reduce or to overcome, then don't worry, make effort. There's Tibetan saying, 9 times failure, 9 times effort. And then, if there is no way to overcome, then don't worry too much. Fact is fact. So, I think realistic attitude, with help of reasoning, intelligence, emotion, with help of intelligence, then emotion also becoming more realistic. So that much benefit, much benefit, like that.
Thank
so
you.
one last question.
No. We have His Holiness
one last question.
2 full days. We'll all be back. There's an afternoon session, and a morning session tomorrow again. Yes, he's kindly consented to be here with us for a couple of days, which is quite unprecedented. So we thank him. I would like Vice Chancellor to say a few words, and then His Holiness will leave for a little rest and lunch. And all of you, please remain here in the room while he leaves.
Without lunch.
No, lunch will be served. They have lunch
here. You also should
They get their lunches here.
So then, I think your brain may function better. If you remain hungry, then difficult. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Not much to say, just to say thank you for all your words of wisdom. And I'm sure there are many questions, there's a lot of curiosity, so we will be all back to listen to you.
Very good. Thank you. I really appreciate all your questions. Very, quite serious, very good question. But if you put silly question, then I may lose my anger. My way of thinking is very scientific way. So now I am talking to you from the viewpoint of some kind of combination, modern science and Buddhist analytical system. So then purpose of our life or our sort of existence. all things which have life, including rocks, stones, of course much longer period, but there is life. So every sort of living thing, they, by nature, they have the right to exist, to survive. Then those phenomena which have life, but no consciousness, no cognitive power, no feeling, pain and pleasure. That's one category. Another category, living thing, who have life, but also they have the experience of pains and pleasure. One time my discussion with late Verala, Francis Verala, his sort of definition, right? Living being, anything which have ability to move from here there, that consider sentient being, not just a chemical matter, but there is motivation, desire, experience. So they think some problems, we must find solution, peaceful solution, or solution through dialogue. So usually I describe this 21st century now should be century of dialogue. So you belongs now that generation. So indeed I'm very happy and great honor to interact with you. So of course the authority to arrange this sort of meeting. Thank you very much. Thank you. The team is very good. What is the meaning of life? I don't know. Perhaps I am Buddhist and I study many Buddhist texts which wrote by Nalanda masters or Nalanda professors like Nagarjuna or these things. But I'm not talking as a Buddhist, but maybe in my whole idea, my whole view, some kind of combination, the Nalanda tradition which always open mind and a little bit skeptical, then analyze, which we Buddhists call analytical meditation. It is very useful. Should not consider as a religion, but simply is it a proper way to see the reality. Open mind, skeptical, investigation, analytical, analyze. So very helpful. So part that, then part as a result of meeting with many scientists. So basic, participate our meeting. I just express, I prefer name honorary professor of the university rather than Dalai Lama. so now I'm talking to you in the name of Professor Ray. But reality, hopeless professor. Firstly, those sufficient time to concentrate those subjects which supposed to talk. No homework, no sort of proper preparation. Secondly, of course, I'm lazy. So, they say, prefer sleep rather than serious homework, right? However, now coming here, meet a learned person and also young student. Particularly young student, you mainly belongs this century, 21st century. We belong, particularly my generation, belongs 20th century. So it's gone. So we are, my generation, ready to say goodbye. But your generation, now only 10 years passed, 90 years yet to come for this century. So I always pray and wish, and also telling people, 20th century become century of bloodshed. Through that way, of course, to concerned people, I think some foolishly get some satisfaction, but otherwise much more suffering as a result of violence. And the problem still remains there. Then on top of that, including global warming. And I think already this is some unprecedented survey. Unprecedented sort of, or say things, flood, immense in Pakistan, in Ladakh. And of course, other part of the world, a lot of fire. So this, I think we already now witness, you see, due to our carelessness and I think too much greed, too much exploitation, without paying sufficient attention for protection of the whole globe. So these are, I think, a result of our thinking in 20th century. Now you, generation who belongs to 21st century, take experience which we are now facing as a result of past negligence or mistake. Now we must build this century, more peaceful century, and peace not come through prayer, but peace must, we human beings must create peace. Logically, violence, war created by human being. So the other side, peace also we must create. So peace does not mean no longer problem. Problem will remain. So long we human beings remain, problem, disagreement always remain. Then what we should do is, whenever we face...
Good morning to all of you who are here. It's great pleasure for me and all of you, I believe, to welcome His Holiness the Dalai Lama. He blesses the university very often in spite of his very hectic schedules, travels, taking the great messages of love and peace to all corners of the world. But he still, whenever we request him, he comes and blesses us and shares his thoughts with us. I want to thank him for his kindness, generosity, his interest in ethics, his interest in education, his interest in universities, and his great love for our country, which he believes should be the leader in establishing secular ethics. Whenever I have an opportunity to talk to him, for me it's a very uplifting experience because it is all positivity rather than huge amount of negativity which is today invading our societies. So I welcome you, Your Holiness, for coming to us. I'm sure our young friends here and some of our senior colleagues, which includes us also, are very keen to listen to you and to learn from you and to get motivated about positivity in our lives with our interaction with you. So thank you for coming to the university. I would now ask you to conduct this as per your wishes and as you think it is proper.
First day, indeed, I'm very happy and great honor